Hello and welcome to Amethyst Star Crafting. My name is Jane Ormark and I'm a UK independent Stampin' Up demonstrator. And today we're looking at a variety of stamp sets. We're coming to the time of year when we're going to start doing our retirement lists towards the end of March. And with that, we've got the new annual catalogue coming, so exciting because there'll be new things in there. But we always have to say goodbye to some of the old ones, and we never know what they are. And I've got no idea at all. But I thought, well, we really need to look at, we've got this Butterfly Brilliance, which is the brand new one, which is coming in the new annual catalogue. But I thought, let's team up with some of the ones that we've had for a while that we love and we don't always get out and don't always think of the little ones in there. So we're going to use a little butterfly from the Butterfly Brilliance, and we are going to use from Free as a Bird, we're going to use the little flowers here. This I particularly like because it's a little tiny weeny bud which colours beautifully and just works with something. So we're just using some little spring floral, Easter floral elements from this one, which is Free as a Bird. And then from the Quite Curvy, we're using this lovely leaf. I really love it. And I've done some of the colouring already because you don't need to see all of that. And that's your leaf when it's coloured out. There's a die set that goes with it, and it will die cut out the beautiful shape. So I've just coloured this in. I've used blends and I've used 3 different tones, and as I say, just colour the leaves in as you would like to colour them. So that's the element from there. So I thought as well that we would use some, I want to do some Easter cards. So I've done just a little Easter greeting. There's lots of different Easter sentiments in the catalogue. Choose whichever you want. If you don't want to put Easter, then how about putting a happy spring or something like that. Now these are ones that are from, they're actually from Fable Friends from last year, but I really like the Happy Spring for the people that don't do Easter and Easter greetings for the ones that do. And I send out quite a few Easter cards, so I thought I'd make a start on them. So we are going to, let me have a look and see what we're doing. I've got a piece of Whisper White cardstock, which I'm just using as a base actually. And then I've cut a 1/8 of an inch, I think it's about an 1/8 of an inch. You could do 1/4 of an inch smaller to go on there. So it's white on white, but it just gives that little bit of a border, which is what I want. Now, do the sizes of your standard cards. If I take a card base, it says me reach it out for a card base that I've got here. So you've got your standard card base wherever you are, and then you're going to have these on here like that, which is a bit small, so I am probably going to take a piece of, let me see if I've got a piece of, here we go, I've got a piece of I think it's Daffodil Delight, and that's Bumblebee, but you know, as long as it's sort of a spring type colour. So you've got this as your base, which is 1/4 of an inch smaller, and that will work for, you know, everywhere, wherever you are. Just cut your piece 1/4 of an inch smaller than whatever your base is. Then we're going to have the white piece that'll go on there, and then we're going to have the yellow piece that will go on there, which just gives that extra bit of a border, which I think will look quite pretty on it. Okay, so I'm going to get some wet glue out, so I can just start putting some of these bits together, but I'm going to just put this to here for now so we don't waste too much time. Okay, so this bit we know is going to be stuck just on here, so I'll do that bit. And this paper is from the Fine Art Designer Series paper, which goes with the Art Gallery suite. And as I've said before, it's got really sort of bright florals on one side, but it's got some really rather nice sort of muted colours on the other. And this one works perfectly for a spring Easter card. And as I say, we are now getting to the stage where we're right into that Easter period. So I'm just sticking that on, so that gives me my base on there. Okay, so I've then cut, because I want some textures and some layers, I've cut 2 circles from the stitch shaped dies, and I cut the largest circle, and I've cut the next size down. And those are going to just sit in the middle like that. And I then want to have this to come in across on the bottom. Okay, so we need 2. I don't want to use too many dimensionals and things. We are going to use some dimensionals, but I'm going to stick this one on, and they're completely plain. If you want to do some stamping, you can, but this is where I wanted to have that really sort of nice feel to the Easter. And I'm just putting the glue in the center, because then it does allow me to tuck some pieces in if I want to. So there's no glue on the other side. I like the stitching because it gives that little bit of an element in on there, but it gives a really sort of plain thing. I've then got my sentiment, and I want to offset my sentiment down here on that side, but you can see now we're getting into levels, so that's where the dimensionals will come in. So I'm just going to grab my dimensionals out. So it's all about taking your layers and putting your layers where you want them. So that's my dimensionals, and on this I'm just going to put 2 of the standards in on the middle like this. Okay, so we can put that one in, and then we're going to have that offset just a bit on here, so there's enough room to put things in as we want on the other side. Okay, so that takes the basis of our card on there, because we want to have, in fact, I need to very carefully take this off a little bit, because I've just realised I need to. Good thing with these is that if you just ease them very carefully, you can take them off when they haven't stuck down completely. So it's a matter of patience, easing, and then they will come off. Okay, so we're going to use that in a minute, but I forgot to say I want to put this down in on the bottom, and it does come from one side to the other, and I am going to glue this down. So I'm just taking some wet glue right the way along there, and then we can put this just down in on the bottom. It does almost fit from side to side, which is really rather nice. It's a fantastic stamp set like that. Now I'm not putting it down completely, because I want to tuck this in just underneath, so that some of it is just slightly hidden like that, and then we'll take this over the top. Okay, so you've got a slight sort of curve on it, but that gives some of the dimension to it, as it were, without having to put a dimensional in. If you want to, you can tuck a little one in underneath, and we will if it looks as if it needs it. Okay, so let's get down to the images that we were talking about from this one. So I've taken one of those, I've taken 2 of those, and I've taken a whole pile of these little ones, and I thought that I would show you. I've just literally taken them onto a scrap. As you know, I use my scraps all the time. So the butterfly, first of all, we are going to use pencils with this. I want this to be quite subtle. I don't want the butterfly to stand out as a full image, so I've taken Daffodil Delight on here, and I'm literally just, I've shown you before, if you want to go back and have a look at any of the other ones I've done with the Butterfly Brilliance. I did do one of showing you the different ways of colouring, but I'm literally just doing this over very lightly, or fairly lightly. The pencils are absolutely brilliant. I just want to take it over. I can make it a little bit darker with the pencil in the centre, like that, but that's all I want. I don't want it to be too dark. So the only pencil I've used is a Daffodil Delight, and just by pressing a little heavier in the centre, that's given that pale butterfly, because that's just going to blend in. Now the little flowers, I thought I would just show you what I did with those. I've taken a pale pink. This is light pink pirouette. Don't even know if it's still available, but a light pink. And you're literally just going to colour across all of those, and we'll colour across the little one as well. So you've got your pale pink first, then I'm taking, and this is it's the dark Calypso Coral. You could use the light Calypso Coral. I just wanted a little bit more of a colour in, and I'm just literally putting a little bit down at the bottom, which would be sort of the shadow bit, or as a bud starts to open. The buds tend to be sort of darker in the middle, and I'm just going to take a little bit just in on here. Very light little strokes, and I'm just putting them in like that. So that's the dark Calypso Coral I've used, but you could use the light. Then I'm taking this is the dark pink pirouette. So any dark pink, as I say, I think this one is probably retired, but petal pink would work. And you're just going to blend through in on there. So blend across on that line, and on this one, just blend the whole lot in and just take it to the edge like that. Okay, so now you've got the ones that you want. So we've used blends and we've used some of the pencils, and then all I'm going to do is to very quickly just cut this little fellow out. I know that a lot of you have said that you don't enjoy fussy cutting. Well, there is a die with this set that die cuts all 6 of the butterflies out at the same time. However, you can see I use little tiny scraps, so I've just bought, and again I've had quite a few comments of how many butterflies do we need to have, because there are lots of butterflies out there. But in the same respect, I'm very much somebody who's like, I liked this one, but I didn't want to get all the dies and paraphernalia with it. So I've just got the stamp set because I know I will use it. I like this little, and we haven't got a butterfly that is just like these ones. We've got things that are very similar, but we haven't. I'm just going to cut that off on here so it's a little bit easier. We haven't got as many that are exactly the same. You know, yes, we have in the past, and I have quite a lot of butterflies, but again, we have to think that the audiences that we're getting now, I know some of us have been demonstrators or been customers for many, many years, but there's a lot of people that are coming to Stampin' Up for the first time and going like, ooh, like the stuff here, like the quality, like the colour combinations, like the way you can coordinate everything. And, you know, they've only been a customer for a short period of time, or have only found out about Stampin' Up recently, or only just thinking of getting into crafting again. Maybe they've been a quilter or a knitter or embroidery or something. So there's a lot of people about. Okay, so that's going to be our butterfly that we are going to sort of put up in something like that. But you can see I've toned it quite pale because I want it to not stand in the front. And then these ones are, again, very simple little ones to just cut out. And I'm not sure how many I'm going to need, so I'm not going to cut too many of those. I think I want another one of these, because as I say, I have cut some of them out, so I'm just going to very easily take this one out. As I say, not all our stamp sets have dies, but it's then a matter of, you know, I enjoy fussy cutting, I really do. You know, I don't have a problem doing it. Don't get me wrong, when I first started many years ago, oh my goodness, I was all fingers and thumbs. I didn't know how to get round in the corners. I didn't know about turning your paper instead of turning your scissors, and but I've learned. So we're going to take, let me have a look and see. So I've got one large one and 3 of the small ones here. I'm not going to sure whether I'm going to use them. And then I've got some of these little buds in here. And again, I'm not sure on the buds. Now the butterfly is going to come in sort of last. What I do want to do is to put some of these flowers. I've left this completely plain because I do want to have, so we're going to have this coming in just like this on here. I think I'm going to do sort of 3 layers in. Let's put that one fairly centered, and then we can tuck this sort of one underneath. Okay, so I'm going to put this one in dimensionals glue. I'm going to do some with dimensionals, some with glue. So we'll have the flower. The larger of the flowers is going to go just sort of in like that. And then we'll have the little one just sort of coming in on the side. There is sort of a top to and a bottom to this, so that can sort of go down on there. Then we can have another one at the side. And again, if you've got any other little sort of spring flowers and things, I think I'm going to tuck this one in down here, just in a little bit. I want it to just tuck in under there, like that. I think that's quite pretty. So we've got 3 in like that. Then these are the little tiny buds, which I think are absolutely lovely. So we're going to have to tone that in with those. We're going to have one little bud off on the side here. So again, I'm doing those with just a bit of glue and just tucking it in so that it just pokes out and teams that in, so you can see it's spring buds and flowers. Then we're going to put, because I want some of these to team in down on the bottom, because I think what we think about Easter is, you know, new beginnings, everything sort of coming out, and you know, all the new flowers and things that are coming about. So we'll have one down on there. I'll put another one in on here, and just sort of put them up in different directions so they're sort of in and out. We definitely want some to come in on here like that, so we can have one coming out from here. And I do want to take a little one down here. Now you can see that I've already stuck it down, so I don't want the stalk to show, so I'm just going to snip that stalk off, and then we can just put a little bit of glue in on here, because these are the colours that just sort of make it pop. So you've got this coming out beautifully, just coming out of the sort of foliage coming through. I'm going to take another one off and take that off at the bottom as well. And then we'll take this one, and I think we're going to put this, let's have a look and see for sort of balance. I quite like to have something close to each other, so we'll have 2, one going one direction, one going the other, because you want it to be, you know, little things just sort of poking up. Now, do I have some coming down from the bottom? Let me have a little look and see. Yes, I think that will work as well, actually. So I can tuck one in under here. So it's literally just sort of building up little bits without overdoing it, but doing it enough that you've got just this little pop. I don't want it to go over the top, so that's literally just going to pop in underneath here. I've got this one to come in because I want this to be balanced on here, underneath here. So we're going to have a little one in on here. Whoops, getting that stuck to my glue. So let's just pop that one in. I want it to be, that's better. There's a little space for it to go in underneath that way. So we'll have that tucked in that way. So you've got the little buds and things growing in underneath. I've got one more left out of the ones that I did. So I could put another one. Maybe I could have, yes, I'm going to have one coming over the top of this one, so it just sort of comes through. Don't want the, do I want the stalk? No, I don't want the stalk actually. I'm going to take the stalk off of this because I just want the little bud. So we're going to have the bud in on that corner. So again, you've got like that dimension of one and the other one over the top. I think that will look quite nice. So put that in on here. That comes up like that, so that's quite nice. And then we've just got that butterfly to come in. And do I put that on with a dimensional? Yes, I think I do. So we'll use the minis again. You can get dimension with them if you want to. You can put the wings up. I tend to like it because everything else is fairly flat. If I'm doing it in layers, so if I'm doing a couple of vellum layers over the top, I would, but I quite like it as it is. And I want the butterfly to be flying just like that. So we'll have it just there. Oops, we want this one to come up like that. So we've got that on the level. And then I think if we then take our base and things back, so we've got, I'm not going to do the gluing bit of this now, but I will do later. So we've got our card base, and obviously this is a landscape. We've then got our piece of, this is Daffodil Delight, but you can use Bumblebee because that's the exact colour, but my butterfly is that colour, and I think it just pops it quite nicely in on there. So you then have a really rather nice spring card, and we've used 3 different stamp sets, all of ones that, so we've used a little butterfly as our accent from the new Butterfly Brilliance. We've done the quite curvy, which I really love this foliage on here. It fits perfectly. And we've taken from Free as a Bird some of those little tiny spring flowers, you know, spring blossom that's coming through to just put it through. So I think that that makes, as I say, a lovely Easter card for somebody. Thank you so much for watching me. As always, please stay safe and well and be kind. Look forward to seeing you soon. Bye-bye.